Let's check in at the press conference now at the scene. Mayor Daniela Levine-Cava is speaking now.
The residents, with the families, with the community. What we know at this point is that the Champlain Tower, Tower South, is a 12-story building. It's more than 130 units, and about half of those have collapsed. A massive search and rescue is underway, and we know that we're going to do everything we can possibly do to identify and rescue those who have been trapped in the rubble. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue is leading the efforts, and they have been on the scene since the early morning, and they're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much to our brave fire rescue workers. They have years of experience in this type of operation, and they are doing everything they possibly can do, so we need to allow them to do their work. Very important. We need to allow them to do their work because every minute in this search can make a huge difference. We've set up a family reunification hotline for those who are trying to get information about their loved ones. Call 305-614-1819, 614-1819, or you can go to miamidade.gov/emergency to report online missing persons or to check in if someone is safe. So again, 305-614-1819. Chaplains and victim advocates are on site ready to support the survivors and family members who will be in need of resources. Our social service agencies as well are coming in. They are going to be here to assist in the hours and the days ahead. I'm thinking of all of our first responders. I know you are as well, and praying for their safety as they go about their difficult work of saving lives. Bueno, aquí estamos. Lo increíble que ha ocurrido.
You've just been listening to Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine-Cava giving us an update on the situation of this partial building collapse at the Champlain Towers at 8777 Collins Avenue in Surfside. Let's just recap a little bit of what she said here and what we've found out throughout the morning. This building, a 12-story building, the mayor says more than 130 units in this building, and sadly, Francis, more than half of them, the mayor said, collapsed in this absolute tragedy.
And she echoed the efforts from the mayor of Surfside, just applauding Miami-Dade Fire Rescue as well as all the first responders doing an amazing job for putting their own lives on the line to try to help those who were trapped get out. They have put a pause on those search and rescue efforts because they're still waiting for the go-ahead to search that part that has been just completely pancaked. That's the term that the mayor of Surfside was using. As the mayor of Surfside and Levine-Cava just mentioned, there is a family reunification center and now working to help those affected. Chaplains, victim advocates on site. We've heard of Red Cross trying to provide some housing for those people whose homes now just destroyed.
And if you are just now tuning in, what you're seeing there on your screen is the mayor of Miami-Dade County as well as multiple different law enforcement agencies gathered together to give an update. She is speaking in Spanish right now, so you're not missing any of the latest information. Let's go ahead and turn it back over to that. That's Detective Alvaro Zabaleta, the police spokesperson for Miami-Dade Police Department. He's going to be introducing other speakers. Let's listen to the commissioner now, Jose Pepe Diaz.
This is a very sad moment in our community, and especially the city of Surfside, when something like this actually happens. It is important that all your prayers go out to the family members and those that are suffering right now. I want to thank all the first responders for the incredible job that they've been doing, they have done, and that will be doing for the next several days in dealing with this. It is important that we all rally around the families and the people that are actually suffering so much at this time. I want to thank my colleague also that is here, Rene Garcia, along with all my colleagues that have been calling nonstop to try to find out anything they could do to help out. We are together as a community, working together. As the mayor said, all the details have been given, but we're here together to find anything that we could do to help the families that have gone through this tragedy. So, on behalf of Miami-Dade County's Commission, as the chairman of the board, we're here in support to Surfside and this community and everything we could do. Estoy aquí de parte de la comisión de Miami-Dade.
So you were just hearing from Commissioner Jose Pepe Diaz, as he mentioned, also echoing Levine-Cava's sentiments, thinking of the families involved, thanking first responders, and really stressing patience and calm as we are still unraveling a lot of the information and details. Too early to figure out what exactly caused this, but of course the major concern right now is just how many people might still be trapped, the number of injuries, the extent of those injuries. We did confirm earlier this morning that at least one person has been killed and at least 9 transported to area hospitals. And just to give you guys an idea of that incredible, massive response this morning, just from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue alone, more than 80 units responded to the scene initially, and then there was help from agencies from all over, including Broward County, about 20 units as well, who were there for most of the morning. So really just goes to show you, when they talk about those efforts from first responders, I mean, we did not see any less than just heroic, incredible efforts this morning.
Absolutely. These search and rescue teams in South Florida are among the best in the country, in the world. Even they get sent to situations all over the globe to help find victims in cases of just absolute catastrophe and tragedy. Let's go ahead. It seems like they're going to be bringing in another speaker from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Let's listen in.
Jadallah, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. So Miami-Dade Fire Rescue at approximately 1:30 this morning responded to a reported building collapse. To summarize, we had a 12-story, 136 unit apartment complex that had sustained a partial collapse. The northeast corridor of the apartment had collapsed, approximately 55 apartment units. Our units began search and rescue efforts. They pulled 35 occupants that were trapped inside the building. In addition to those 35, 10 were assessed and treated. 2 were transported to various hospitals. Search and rescue efforts are still ongoing. We do have operations conducting inside based on additional intel that we're receiving from resources inside. To kind of echo the mayor's words, we have established a reunification center, and if you do have loved ones that are not answering your call, we ask that you do contact the phone number that's been given to you, 305-614-1819. Thank you.
To do the Spanish for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, PIO Enrique Benitez.
To recap there, that was a speaker from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Of course, they are the ones in charge of this just massive search and rescue operation at this partial building collapse in Surfside. As he said, they got the original call at about 1:30 this morning, 12-story building with 136 units. Now, this happened in the northeast portion of the building. That's the part that collapsed. We're hearing 55 units were part of that collapse, but there are some units that you could see that are still up on the building, but they're also destroyed because parts of the walls that held those units in also collapsed with the rest of that building. So 35 occupants had to be pulled from the building. 10 were treated, at least 2 transported. We know right now that 1 person, sadly, is confirmed dead at this scene. But as Jim DeFede mentioned a short time ago, he's been talking to his sources all morning long. And of course, the great fear is that that number is certainly bound to go up as crews are able to start really digging through the rubble, because as we're looking at the pictures from that scene, we see a lot of people. There's been a little bit of a pause in the actual search as they work to make sure that the actual building is secure for those search and rescue crews to go in. The canines were searching, trying to get hits, as they call it, to see if they can actually find signs of life in there. There was that encouraging video of that one boy being pulled out from the rubble. So hopefully there will be other scenes of something like that coming up soon. Let's listen to Miami-Dade Police Director Freddie Ramirez.
Foremost, we pray for the victims and their families. The Miami-Dade Police Department's role will be the lead investigative agency. We will be working with Surfside Police Department and our other municipal partners. Our goal is to provide a thorough investigation and closure for our families. Estamos aquí, somos los príncipes en la investigación de lo que ha pasado aquí. Vamos a trabajar junto con los otros.
All right, you're hearing now from Director Alfredo Ramirez, Miami-Dade Police Director, who talked about how Miami-Dade Police will be the lead agency investigating this, but of course they are working with Surfside Police as well, and their goal is to provide a thorough investigation because there's a lot of closure needed for a lot of these families right now, still waiting for answers. Let's listen back in as they introduce the next speaker.
Also, I just want to make sure that the emergency personnel understand how important it is that we have their participation here. We appreciate it very much. We've been in contact with Senator Scott, Senator Rubio's office. We've been in touch with the governor's office, Governor DeSantis, the county mayor, other towns in our area, and we're very appreciative of what they've offered and the assistance, anything we need. This is not going to be something that is going to be brief. It's going to be something that's going to be for the long term and possibly, at least a week. And these people behind me, it's very important that you recognize them, because there's a lot of support here, and this is who is helping to make this happen, that we can resolve this as quick as possible. Thank you.
All right, so you just heard from the Surfside town manager there. Again, like all the other officials, emphasizing the importance of patience and working together. You can see this huge show out of support of agencies and officials from all across the county. We're going to listen in again to see who might be speaking next.
Everyone here, we're going to move them out. You guys are going to be moved to the next block over. This is going to be vacated due to for safety reasons. So just 4 questions, and then we're going to continue on really quick. Fire rescue.
What can you tell us about numbers? What kind of equipment do you have that's uniquely positioned to help in this situation?
So, in regards to the equipment, we do have our heavy rescue. We have our heavy equipment, such as our Paratechs. We are shoring up the structure on the inside as we continue to tunnel in to locate additional survivors.
Sir, her question, we're 35 people. How many of them were pulled from the undamaged part of the building versus the damaged part? And how many people, and how many were pulled from the part that collapsed?
All right, so part 1, 35 were pulled out from the structure and part of the collapse, but not from the rubble, and 2 were pulled from the rubble.
Do you have a list of people who are listed as disappeared?
That information, I'll defer that to Miami-Dade Police Department.
So was there renovations, as we understand, going? Can you elaborate as to what was going on?
I don't have that information. I'll defer that. Currently, search and rescue operations are continuing based on the intel that we have. In regards to the number of people missing, we don't have the total missing. We haven't established that. Again, we ask that you continue to contact that reunification number that's been given out until we go from there.
Sir, pricing for the death toll to go substantially higher?
At this time, we're still conducting search and rescue operations, so we really don't have that type of information.
Folks, because of the lightning, we're going to have to get people out. We need to have you guys start packing up. It's going to be on the lot just north of here. It's about a block.
You've been watching a press conference from the scene of this partial building collapse in Surfside. Again, a 12-story building, more than 130 units in that building, the Champlain Towers, and just about half of them, a little bit less than half of them, we are told, collapsed. 55 units are the subject of that collapse in the northeast portion of that building. Right now, people who live in that area, who live in that building, or perhaps you're watching and you may know family members who live in that building, if you're trying to get in contact to them, really the stress is right now on contacting that reunification center. That number is 305-614-1819. 9301 Collins Avenue is where you can go if you are looking for any loved ones this morning.